The Ukrainian Canadian Professional and Business Association is launching their 15th annual King of Kovbasa this year on February 4th at Prairieland Park. I've invited Adrian Boyko and Fred Ozerny to come down and give us a bit of insight into the organization, what it does, and how this event has grown to be just magnificent. So Adrian and Fred, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
Adrian, maybe start with you, a little bit of history about the Ukrainian Canadian Professional and Business Association. I know we call it the UCPBA,
Right.
but it's been around for some time, and maybe start with the beginning and how we came to be here.
Sure. The Ukrainian Professional Business Association started in Saskatoon in the 60s. The Ukrainian Professional Business Association, it started as a part of a federation for Canada. It was responsible for a number of events across Canada. One of the biggest being the Ukrainian history book, Ukrainian Encyclopedia, of which our own Roy Romano was a patron, and he and the province kicked in to help launch that encyclopedia. It was a big project for us. I wasn't around at that time as part of the club, but that's part of our history. From there, the Ukrainian Professional Business Association grew and developed such things as Vesna Festival. It was the sponsor, if you will, of Vesna Festival, and Vesna grew out of that and now becomes a standalone type of organization throughout its history. Then, as all clubs do, we went into hiatus for a number of years. Coming out of hiatus in 2000 with a good friend of mine that passed away, myself and Dave Mysak helped relaunch it. And the reason we relaunched it at that time was to help the community celebrate the millennium of Christianity. And so that was where the idea came about to relaunch the club and maybe put on a gala performance of all of the dance groups and choral groups in the province. That didn't occur, but we said, well, we're enjoying ourselves, might as well continue on. And other people, like-minded people, came back, and our club was over 100 people as we've grown. And we said, well, now what? What do we do? So Dave had seen in Ottawa this thing called a King of Kovbasa competition. And we said, well, why can't we do this here? And so the legend began at that point. In 2002 was our first contest, first winner, if you will, of the King of Kovbasa. And that happened to be Prairie Meats. And then from there we've had a number of varying different suppliers, but primarily staying at 12 suppliers. We try to maintain that 12 suppliers. And from the very first King of Kovbasa, we had 60 people in the basement of the All Saints Orthodox Church on Louise, to now where we're at Prairieland and we have over 600, close to 700 people.
That's just a fascinating growth story, and I think the club is to be commended. And it's not just for the Ukrainian community that the event has grown. I guess, Fred, maybe to ask you about the event itself. If people are looking to buy tickets, do they have to be of any particular faith or any culture?
It's wide open, and the purpose of the event is for the Ukrainian committee or the Ukrainian community to reach out and engage with the community of Saskatoon at large. And this event plays a really big part in that.
So you have some sponsors as well as agencies or groups that you work with the fundraising that you do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we've been fortunate enough to have the new Community Credit Union as a big supporter almost throughout the history of the event. And over the last 3 years, they have assumed the the honor of being our title sponsor. So we're really happy to have them. We have several categories for sponsors. We have a platinum sponsorship level. We have a diamond sponsorship level, and gold, silver, and bronze as well. And
So it's open to anyone that wants to participate in that way and become a sponsor and help out with either silent auction items and things
we have
like
a
that?
silent auction, and we have we always have 2 or 3 live auction items as well, and they're extremely successful at us raising money for our partner organization. Perhaps I should talk about our well, I'll talk about the auction items. We have one major item, which is a vodka party put on by Slava Vodka, and yeah, we usually pull in a fair amount of money with that one, because it's people are quite eager to bid on that one. It's a party for 25 people, put on by Slava Vodka, hosted by Slava Vodka, and it's just a real good event for whoever is the winner of that particular bid. The other live auction item is going to be a trip anywhere that WestJet flies. So 2 really big auction items.
And the bidding is fast and furious on those, as well as some silent auction items too.
Oh
I guess.
yes, there's a lot of silent auction items, and I don't have a list right now, but
Yeah.
but I know, for example, one of them is a restaurant experience. It's dinner for about half a dozen people or so. So
There's a good variety of
oh,
things
there's a
to
good
do,
variety
yeah.
of things,
Yeah.
and something for everybody.
So when, maybe question for both of you, if we started with back when, what was the genesis of how this all came together? Was it kind of like, I know a company that makes really good sausage, and you say, well, no, I know one that's better than that one, and have you tried this one? Was that kind of how it started? Or?
Basically, we sat around and said, okay, this is a great idea. Now what? You have a great idea. So let's go and find some sponsors, or let's go find some suppliers. So we went around to the community, to our natural sources, if you will. Somebody said, well, Prairie Meats is a good place. They do good sausage, or Emco, or you then turned around and said, okay, well, what about some others? So we then said Odessa, and so we built from place to place, and we've gone throughout the province. We went, for example, to Shellbrook, and we've got Shellbrook Meats also as a sponsor. We've got in Humboldt from Modern Meats. We've got
Cudworth, I think, was one.
Yeah, Cudworth is one. Yeah, Ray's Bigway out of Cudworth. So we've got a number of suppliers. Last year's winner, for example, was Brisky Meats here. We've got Co-op. We've got Smokehouse, who've been tremendous sponsors for us. And so, some have come, some have left. We've got a new one this year. Was it Beecher Fine Meats in Saskatoon here? So we have had some change, but some of our suppliers have been with us right from the beginning. So that's pretty nice tribute. And what they tell me is they first of all want the Kovbasa competition is a traditional fashion, traditional Kovbasa, because what it does is it highlights the Ukrainian culture, right? I mean, from its roots. And what our suppliers tell us is there can be and are other competitions for sausage making. And for example, a big praise to us was the fact that in Osler last summer they had Lord of the Rings. And what the Lord of the Rings was a direct takeoff from the King of Kovbasa. And what they were doing was they were promoting the Mennonite farmer sausage. So good on them. And good on our suppliers for being part of it, because philanthropically, what we are doing with the King of Kovbasa from the very beginning is we pick a a category or a recipient. We've had in the past, we've had Kidney Foundation, we've had Red Cross, and this year it's SPCA, where we as an organization are philanthropic givers to these organizations that are in Saskatoon and benefit all of society. So I think it's fun. It's fun. It's a great evening, and we couldn't do this without our suppliers or our sponsors.
What would typically happen if someone was a first-time goer to this, Fred? What would you say they would experience when they got there?
Well, probably an important feature of our event is this celebrity panel. We have a panel of celebrity judges, and it's a competition within a competition. We have 10 celebrities from the media to in some cases politics, or to a sports team in Saskatoon, and they compose the celebrity panel, and they do the tasting like everybody else in the audience, and they come up with the winner of the King of Kovbasa, and then once they have announced who they think is the winner, then the tabulation results of what the audience, who are the main judges of the contest, and there's a comparison, of what the celebrities came up with to what the fans, the people at the event did. And over the 15 years, I guess it's 14 up until now, the celebrities have only matched the audience once. So anyway, it adds a lot of fun, and
This is very high-tech stuff that we're
it
talking
definitely
about.
is, and
People take it very, very
I
seriously.
was just going to ask that question in terms of if we're looking at how you rate the sausage itself.
Okay.
What would you have to do to obviously taste it?
Okay. Well, what happens at the event is a dance troupe parades the sausage in. They walk around and they put a tray on each table. On this tray are 12 cups of sausage, which represent the 12 competitors, and all they're identified by is a number. Each person that comes to the event has a ballot, and they vote on the sausage in 4 different categories. They can vote on the sausage for appearance, which one looks the best. They do it for texture. Some of them have a better texture than the other, and of course that's going to vary from person to person according to their palate, and flavor. And in addition to those 3 categories, there's the overall. Okay, so in reality, there can be 4 winners, although we crown the one that wins the overall king is the one that gets to hold the title of King of Kovbasa for an entire year until we have the competition once again. And anyway, everybody votes on it, and the votes are counted up, and we have a scrutineer. So this is really on the up and up, and it's and we make sure that we have a clergyman in charge of voting, just to make sure that there's no
hanky panky going on there.
Hanky panky going on. It's on the up and.
What we have a trophy that you mentioned is new, but it has all of the previous winners on it. Is that something that's going to be coveted by the suppliers and the winning King of Kovbasa?
Exactly. This is the trophy was just made. So this is the first year it's been presented. However, we have all of the winners to date on there. So we've got no idea who the winner is going to be this year,
So
but
there's obvious bragging rights to this. I mean, when you look at some of the other suppliers who've won their certificates and so on in their businesses.
no question about that. And as Aidan was talking about the suppliers, we actually lost one supplier this year, and he had a replacement within minutes because there is a waiting list to get on this. So the people that are the competitors don't dare back out for a year. Otherwise, they have
I
to go
believe,
back in a
yeah.
queue.
What are some of the things that I know you've worked closely with some of the suppliers? They take this very seriously. They don't just pull something out of the freezer. There's some trial runs and
Oh no, absolutely. They make test batches and they bring out their best recipe. And for example, one of the suppliers a couple of years ago told me that they had started before Christmas doing test runs. Like Park Cafe, for example, do that every year to see what their recipe is going to be like. It's very serious, and that's why the issues are, it's Kovbasa that is being developed here and is being tested, not as one of our suppliers said when we were proposed that we have different types of sausage. He says it's not pizza sausage. He says it's Kovbasa, which is a traditional
Exactly.
recipe and
Yep.
with different flavors, just for how they make it by a traditional recipe.
And you've had over the years some chefs who've been on that panel who've offered their insight into it. This is very significant steps in terms of curing and processing and fineness and coarseness and everything like that. Just before we close, how did the word Kovbasa get agreed upon? There's so many variations of Kovbasa or Kovbasa. Can you shed some light on that?
Well, it's interesting you asked this question because you're not the first one that's asked this question. In fact, there are a number of articles, and I did some research before I came on today, and an article that was done in Winnipeg in the Free Press, which happens to be also a Ukrainian type of city. They had gone to a university professor to determine this name, how the name or how to pronounce the name, whether it's Kovbasa or Kovbasa or Kilbasa or Kubasa, right? And it's really the true Ukrainian way to say the name is Kovbasa. It's Kovbasa,
Right.
as opposed to Kubasa, which is Kubasa, right? But in Manitoba and Saskatchewan, we tend to hear Kubasa a lot.
More common.
More common.
Yeah.
Where there's a Polish, which is Keilbasa, which
So it's a regional and cultural and
yeah,
more
and
agreed
one
upon,
was because of transliterations from Cyrillic to English, to Latin.
Yep.
And because Polish was Latin, it was easy. They just brought it with them, and so that's how they spelled the name.
So I think to sum it up, we have the 15th annual. It'll be February 4th at, I think it was
Prairieland Park, Hall B.
7 o'clock. You can get tickets how?
Probably the best way is to Google King of Kovbasa, and you get information on the event, as well as where you might be able to purchase tickets.
And we have about 600 to 700 people in attendance, so you're urged to get your tickets early. Adrian and Fred, I want to thank you very much for coming and enlightening on this, and I can't wait to see this.
It's been our pleasure.
Thank you very much.